Welcome to the Pat Mayo experience. We're finally here. We're about 12 hours before the Masters starts, and I got the cheat sheet for you. It was already put out in text form in the newsletter, so if you're not subbed to the newsletter, you might as well do that. But I'm just going to be reading off that. If you wanted the color, you can read the newsletter. You could have watched the show that I did with Keith, but I'm here to give you the picks, none of the fluff, and then I'm going to get to all of the questions you got for the Masters. For me, one and done bets, DraftKings, doesn't matter what it is, as long as they're good, you dump them in that chat, boom, you got it going on. And if you are not subbed to Mayo Media Network, you cannot ask a question in the chat, so sub. Okay, thank you for subbing. That was easy. So you can do it every time. So here's what I got. I'm going Xander Schauffele, Cam Young, Tommy Fleetwood, 1, 2, 3 to win the Masters, 18, 24, and 28 to 1. It's now down to 24 on Fleetwood, 21 on Cam Young. If that's all you got, hell, whatever. It's the Masters. Take them. I'm not playing the each way three markets here. I'm playing win only for those three guys. They're my bets at the top. And if you are in Canada, outside of Ontario, and you do want a slightly better number on Xander, may I suggest hitting the description, clicking on that link next to coolbet.com and getting a 27 to 1 on Xander Schauffele as the PME Super Boost. I have a bunch of boosts over at Coolbet right now, including a to make the cut parlay. There's an Adam Scott first round leader at 62 to 1, if that's one that you want to play. So there's a bunch over there. They've got a lot of really good specials going on at Coolbet right now, but you got to be in Canada outside of Ontario in order to play there. So if you are, go do that. 2 long shots. That's all I got this week. Just the 2. And I got Akshay because why not? Did he go to India and miss the cut? Sure. But do I care? If I wasn't betting him, I would care, but I am betting him, so I don't care. 60 to 1 with 8 places. I took less on the outright to get more on the placement market. So I got my 8 places. He finishes inside the top 8. Boom. We're doing pretty well so far that week. That's a 12 to 1 top 8. Nikolai Højgaard, have been riding this guy all year. And because I've been playing those 3 placement markets, he's actually paid off twice for me now. So up on the year on Nikolai. Hopefully we can keep that going. 75 to 1 with 8 places. First round leader, I got 5 of them. Initially, it was only going to be 4, but then I kind of worked myself into a shoot on the show with Keith and ended up going with 100 to 1 long shot who's on second off on the course and might not be the best conditions for him. I don't care. We're going with it anyway. First round leaders, Patrick Reed, 41 to 1. Nikolai Højgaard, 55 to 1. Adam Scott, 62 to 1. Would still play him at the 55 like he is at most places. Hell, if you got a crap book and he's still 50, take him at 50, whatever it is. 62 at Coolbet, though, right now. And Michael Kim, my guy, who was on the show this week for Masters Week, 90 to 1. And Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, second group out, 100 to 1. I don't know why I've talked myself into it, but he won at Royal Melbourne in December. Another firm, fast track, hits the ball super high. Second highest apex height behind Potgieter in the field. Don't like Potgieter so much, but I do like NPR here. RNP here. He's probably not NPR. He's a Dane. Well, I mean, that probably would make him NPR style, at least. But Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, I have talked myself into him as a DraftKings play. I had bet him at low debutant at 18 to 1. That is another bet that is coming in. And obviously, I have the future on Fitzpatrick. If you were watching the show over Christmas time, when we did our future bets for each of the majors, I made one at the Masters. It was Matt Fitzpatrick at 110 to 1. So hopefully you got that one too. I do have a bunch of to make the cut, to miss the cut, and then mixed parlays in the newsletter right now. Hell, I'll bring them up on the screen. Why not? Let's do this. Let's really dig in here and try to waste. We hit JJ Spawn last week, so I had extra money in the account. That's what I want to do for the moment. So you can see everything is up here, low debutante. So the one that's boosted at Coolbet right now is Spieth, Akshay, English, and Siwoo. Those 4 all to make the cut. That's plus 275. You can get that on the PME boost page. The link is in there right now. Additionally, here are some fun ones. All right. A 14 leg to make the cut parlay pays almost 190 to 1. Of note, I have hit 2 of these in the past 7 years. So it's a pretty good rate considering the last one that I hit that was worth like 30 grand. That was going to keep me afloat for a while here. But the 14 legger is Akshay, Adam Scott, Corey Connors, Jake Knapp, JJ Spawn, Nikolai, Bridgman, English, Michael Kim, Nick Taylor, Gary Woodland, Matt McCarty, Ryan Fox, and Patrick Reed. When those 14 guys all make the cut, boom, 190 to 1, easy. Make and miss the cut parlays. The 2 guys that are here to miss, Noren and Gerard, to make Nick Taylor, Michael Kim, Woodland, McCarty, Fox, and Casey Jarvis at 115 to 1. The second make miss is 4 guys to make, 4 guys to miss. Fox, Michael Kim, Bridgman, and English, all to make. Noren, Bubba, Potgieter, and Michael Brennan, all to miss. Those 8 come through, 4 make, 4 miss, 66 to 1. I played a first round 3-ball parlay. I've actually posted this one up on X as well if you want to see how it all works out. It's 218 to 1. Nearguard Peterson to win his group, Fox, McCarty, Nick Taylor, Victor Hovland, and Danny Willett all to win their 3 balls. Pays you 218 to 1. The Miss the Cut parlay that we built on the DraftKings show with Tambo and Blickle this week. Brooks, Penge, Cam Smith, Potgieter, and Sam Stevens. Those 5 guys missed the cut, 100 to 1. Throw on Scotty Scheffler, and now we're up to 910 to 1. I think I bet $35 to win 35 grand or 32 grand or something like that. It was awesome. So let's go that way. I also have a DraftKings play this week as well. They have if you're playing a place that won't let you parlay together, make and miss cut, you can do it on Underdog. So just use code Mayo, sign up on Underdog. You can tail this one. I'll be spamming these out as we go along on X throughout the course of round 1. But Charles to miss the cut, Noren to miss the cut pays almost 4.5 to 1. Thought that was pretty good for a double to miss the cut parlay. Just hope that they don't putt themselves into the tournament because that's all these guys can do at this point. They don't even need their runners to their putters, the runners. They're putters to run cold. What they need is them to run like average, and they're not going to make the cut because the ball striking has been so bad. So those are the bets. Again, you can just hit the newsletter. You can find all this information, all the write-ups, the when, the where, the why. The weather is the next thing. So the Daniel Field Airport is what we can look at. I'll just click on that page because that might make it a little bit easier in case something has changed since I posted this afternoon. It actually has. It's actually gotten better in the morning. So that's great news. It was up to 25 mile per hour gusts in the morning when the guys were hitting the course. Now they're a constant 10 with highs of 19 for an hour. And then at 9 a.m., it goes down to 15. And then later on in the afternoon, it's going to be 10. Even if it was 19 for most of the morning with an average of 10, then it was an average of 9 with a high of 10 in the afternoon. Yeah, it's better that there's more consistent wind in the afternoon. It's slightly easier, but it wouldn't be so much of a difference that I would actually care in order to go change my lineups. I think the first round leader can come out of anywhere here. It is a bit cold. It'll be 47 degrees when the guys hit the course. They'll be wearing toques or beanies, as Americans call them. But it gets up to 70 in the afternoon, mid 60s by 1 p.m. And on Friday, it's going to be a little bit warmer in the morning, 52, 55. Then it heats up to the mid 70s by midday. But there's absolutely no wind on Friday. And when I went and looked at this earlier, there was no wind on Saturday or Sunday at all. There was a risk on Sunday for the leaders. We'll see how that's going. It's actually moving the other way. No wind on Saturday. And here we are on Sunday. So it's fine all day until you get to this 8 p.m. range and on overnight. It goes up to like 21 to 25 miles per hour. Now, they're not going to be on the course at this time. However, when you're trying to project out, especially this far in the future, is that this weather could move to the right and go into Monday. This weather could move to the left and go into Sunday. That all of a sudden, when you check back on Saturday evening, these 25 mile per hour gusts could be at 2 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. Then all of a sudden, the leaders are going to get the worst of it. And maybe it's a chaser that you want to have, depending on what the leaderboard is looking like at that point in time. But there's no weather that I would consider worrying about so far this week. Went through the DraftKings ownership. We went through all of the breakdowns. So basically, these were my guesses, and I'll show you what the rabbit hole is spitting out as well. I think it's going to be Rahm. It's all Rahm all the time, 25, 30% even, and maybe the millionaire maker on DraftKings. I think that keeps Bryson and Rory in check. If Rory came in at single digits, I wouldn't be stunned. Bryson will be like 15 to 20%, somewhere in that range. Rory will be like right around 10%. Just no one is using Rory. I think he's one of the better pivot plays this week. And then after Rahm, it's Fitzpatrick, Minwoo, Henley, Siwoo, they're all right around 20% ownership, which tracks because Rahm, Fitz, Minwoo, Siwoo, and Henley, if you played 5 of those guys in a lineup, you still have $7,900 left to play Corey Connors or Patrick Cantlay or whoever it might be. You're just going to see a lot of those builds. So Xander and Ludwig are going to be 17 to 20. Cam Young, Fleetwood, McIntyre in that 15 to 20 range. And then from down below, sub 7,500, English, Nikolai, Bridgman, Knapp, Scott, Spawn, and McNeely are the ones kind of popping. I estimate they'll be anywhere between 8 and 14%. No one else in that range will be close to them. No 6K players are expected to breach even 7% right now. Kitayama, Stevens, and Gerard, I would guess are the most popular picks. When I ran through my lineups, the only two guys that I used below $7,000 are my guy, Michael Kim, and Rasmus Niergaard Peterson at $6,900 and $6,700. My favorite pivots. And listen, you're not making an entire lineup full of pivots here, but if you need to go, if you feel like you're just a bit too chalky and do want to make a swap in each range, here are the guys I like: Rory, Reed, Hovland, Straka, Woodland, Fox, Michael Kim, and Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. If you need to get out of ownership, you don't have to get off ownership. It's not a requirement, but if you want to, you can do that. When we go and take a look at Scotty Scheffler at the rabbit hole, again, code Mayo to get 25% off all packages at PetSportsGolf.com. Or if you just want to test it out because you want to build some lineups tonight and make showdown lineups or whatever it is you want to do, if you just use code Mayo10 at PetSportsGolf.com, link in the description, by the way, you can just get the next month for $10, and that will get you the Masters, the signature event at Heritage next week, and the Cadillac Miami at Doral signature event towards the end of the month as well. So you get a lot of big tournaments and one with big prize pools if you want to use the entire data tool set inside the rabbit hole. We also have, if you go underneath legacy tools, by the way, you can get the lineup generator, which is the Fantasy National lineup generator. You can see these are the 25 lineups that I built beyond the ones that I did by hand, but it has like the move share option. It only takes the guys that you starred. This was my favorite feature on Fantasy National. And when I facilitated the transfer between the old owners and the new owners of BetSportsGolf.com. These are one of the requirements that I had, that they bring over the legacy tools that everyone likes. It takes a while to make those work. This one is working now, just in time for the Masters. But we also have the optimizer with all the projections and everything. Scheffler, 17%. You can see right here. Morikawa, 7%. I think that's high. Oh, that's the other bet that I ended up making. I made it very last second. I tweeted it out earlier today. I didn't realize if it was a great bet or if it's a trap. If it's a trap, I've decided to walk right into it. Colin Morikawa has not hit a ball speed over, I believe it's 168 miles per hour on the range. He didn't play in the par 3 today. He only took 40 shots in the range. I'm not going to be super stunned when he WDs after lock tomorrow, but I did bet him to miss the cut at plus 240. My move is if he hits one shot and then WDs, well, then he misses the cut and I get paid out on my wager. I just think, listen, even if he plays and he's fine, he still might miss the cut anyway. So I think that there's a lot of value in that plus 240. When I look up and he's at the top of the leaderboard when we're doing the Cut Sweat show on Friday, I'm going to feel like a moron. But here we are. I lose a lot of bets. This one I think is a good bet at plus 240. That's over at Cool Bet as well. If you have questions, dump them in the chat. I'm going to get to them momentarily. Once again, smash the like, sub to the channel. If you sub to the channel, you get in that draw for the HELIX mattress. You hit the description. You can find out all the ways to get into that draw. Although did I do the description for this episode? It's been a long week. I have a 3-week-old child along with my other 2 kids. I've been pumping out content every single day. Writing, radio, video. I'm just excited for the Masters to start. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be doing content during the Masters. Me, Cust, and Jeff are going to be live following round 1 for the round 1 recap. And we're going to be live for the Cut Sweat. So you got nothing to do on Friday afternoon. You're just kicking back and watching some golf, watching like 2 screens at once. Turn us on one of the screens or just throw on YouTube and turn it up, and we'll be doing the commentary. You can bet along with us, and we'll do some Judge Cuss stuff. It'll be a ton of fun. All right, so tune into that. We're going to get to your questions right now.
At Mayo Experience.
That was a brief intro. It doesn't work well when I do the streaming software. It's better when I have the chance to go into post-production and put it underneath the track and then the alpha. Anyway, you don't care about the technical aspect of the show. Let's get to your questions for the Masters. All right. Plug18 says, I know the par 3 winner never wins the tournament, and I have no data to back this up, but doesn't it feel like the par 3 winner typically does well and makes the cut? Well, because you loaded that question in early, I have some information for you. Here we go. We ready for it here? Your feelings are not facts, sir. Here's the issue here. Here are the last few winners of the Masters par 3. Aaron Rai won this year. He's TBD. We don't know. Nico won last year. He was 51st. Ricky Fowler won the year before that. He was T30. Hoagie won the year before that. Cut. Weir and Mac Hughes. Team Canada tied at -4 in the par 3. One came T50. The other one missed the cut. Matt Wallace in 2019 missed the cut. Tom Watson won it in 2018. He didn't even play in the fucking tournament, so you missed the cut too. Jimmy Walker and Streelman did okay, 29th and 12th. Then it was cut, 8th and 27th, 4th. Now we're back 15 years. So we have had no finish inside the top 30 since 2016. So it'd be 10 years ago since the winner of the par 3 contest actually finished inside the top 50 or didn't miss the cut at the Masters. So feel like that's more your feelings are not necessarily true. Maybe you need to feel something else, but that's where we're at. I want to say thank you for all the content this week. Thank you, Stephen, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and supporting the show. I got the numbers today for the show that we did on Monday, me, Jeff, and Cust going over all of the bets. It is the highest rated show ever that we have done on Spotify, which is mental because as big as golf is for me, like weeks 1 through 7 of the NFL do really, really well. And this one beat that one by a pretty significant margin. Like right now, that Monday shows up around between like YouTube, on Yahoo, on the like fast channels, on TV, on Spotify, on Apple. Like put them all together, and we're around like 500,000 like people watching that show. It's absolutely, and it's funny that's the show. The other shows have such good information, but people just want Judge Cust. Apparently, is what we need to know. And guys just shooting from the hip. Congrats to you on the new addition to the family. It's been an awesome week of content. Appreciate all the work and research. Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate that. Scotty or Fritz in the one and done. Fritz isn't a real person, so I'm not going to go with him. Scotty's also spelled incorrectly in this question. That's a real double down there. Scotty. I think Scotty's a better one and done play. I mean, I hope Fitz wins, but I don't think people are going to be using Scotty like you think. I think he and Rory are both really good one and done picks just because of the lower ownership that you're going to have on guys that are still, the highest ranked player in the field. They got the shortest odds, and then Rory, who's the defending champ. Morikawa plus 250 to miss the cut currently. Feel like this has to be an auto bet with his uncertainty. I bet it. It's probably a bad sign, but I bet it. We're going, lost the connection. What's going on here? I wonder if this is even streaming on Twitter. I bet you it's not. Oh, it is streaming on Twitter. It seems like Restream has fixed that. That is just fantastic news right now. If you're on Twitter, retweet this. That'd be very nice. If you're watching on YouTube, smash like. If you're listening to this on the audio version after the fact, rate us on Apple. And if you're listening to this on Apple right now, just scroll down on the phone and hit 5 stars. You don't even need to leave the review. Just give us the 5-star rating. That is good enough. That will help us a ton. All right. What do you predict the ownership percentage for Rahm and Bryson is going to be in the one and done? Well, I'm almost certain they're going to be the highest two. I'd guess that Rahm is. It's really hard for me to predict what the one and done is, especially in the race for the Mayo Cup. I'd say he could go as high as 35%. He'll probably be like 27%. Bryson will probably be between 20 and 25% would be my guess. I did not use Rahm or Bryson on my $1,000 team. I would have used Xander, but I don't have Xander available. I would have used Tommy. I don't have Tommy available. I'm thinking about Cam Young. I think I currently have Rory in, but I might switch that to Scotty or Cam Young. We'll see what we're doing here a little bit later on. It's a lot of time to tinker over the next 12 hours. Additionally, I will be up early tomorrow morning that in case anything happens in the 90 minutes before lock at the Masters, obviously I will tweet that out. But if you're subbed to the newsletter, if something major happens, I will also blast that out on the newsletter just so you have a better chance of not missing it if something happens. A lot of people got saved by my Jason Day put out one time, and hopefully we can do that again. If Morikawa, not that anyone like has a bunch of Morikawa in their DraftKings lineup, but if you do, it's probably something you'd want to know if he WDs before the tournament starts. There's no incentive for him to withdraw before the tournament starts either. It's not like he's taking someone's place in the tournament, that if he withdraws, he doesn't get replaced. His group just plays as a twosome and you end up moving on. So he might try to give it a go and be like, nah, can't do it, fam. I'm out. Amazing week of content. Good luck in the 333. What is your preferred build structure? Well, it's the structure. I've been texting with Blickle all day because Blickle's not in the tournament. I've just been like, this is why I don't play like this high of stakes on DraftKings, because it like stresses me out. Like, am I going to make the wrong choice? Like normally if I play, I'm playing in the $200 entry this week. I have my lineups. I went and closed my eyes, scrolled and stopped on my phone and entered that lineup. That's usually what I do or the single entry lineups. Like they all have just as good of a chance, but now I'm like really stressing over it. Basically what I did is I played a lot of chalk guys because chalk guys tend to come through at the Masters, but I used that pivot sheet that I had and I went from Cam Young down to Patrick Reed in that lineup. I'm hoping that ends up working in my favor. Now, listen, if Cam Young wins, I win my outright bet. That's great news. I don't win $1 million if Cam Young wins. That's unfortunate. if Cam Young wins, Larry from Tom and Marty's wins $200,000. That'll be fun. Maybe he'll come on the cut sweat with us if Cam Young's doing well and he can like stress out about that, because that's a lot of money. But I faded everyone from Ludwig and up. So I didn't use Scheffler, Rory, Rahm, Bryson, or Ludwig. I felt like if I did that and I still use some of the chalk pieces, and I don't want to reveal everyone who it is, but if I do it that way, just not having Rahm, not having Bryson, not having Ludwig, that my guy that I'm leading off with, well, expected to be popular, is more popular as a second man in rather than a first man in, that the combos that I have with some of the other chalkier guys just aren't possible if you play him as a second man in. So that's a strategy that I ended up going with. That I took a cheaper first guy to build up the very top, and I can't remember if I used anyone in the 8Ks or not. I don't think that I did, because my initial build had Spieth in it. It had Michael Kim in it. And then I switched for a while that I had the Cam Young lineup with Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson. And I was like, it's a bit too swing for the fancy. And maybe I will end up switching back to that. But at this moment, that is not the lineup that I have in. I think that the cheapest player I have in is Harris English or Ryan Fox. I can't remember exactly what I have in, because I've switched it 500 times throughout the course of the day, and I'll probably switch it a few more times. But that structure of build is where I'm going. 3 studs and then 3 guys in the 7s that I really do like this week. Some of them chalky, some of them not. Just trying to differentiate myself a little bit, not only through 1 or 2 pivot plays, but also through a unique build on DraftKings that I just don't think a lot of people are going to have. Maybe I'm wrong and everyone has it, but this is the way that I've read the ownership, both based on what I think is going to happen, and I use the rabbit hole stuff and saw the ownership projections there. It's just not that many people can have the lineup build. Like, it's not that like I'm afraid of someone having the same lineup as me. I'm not. That's not going to happen. But if they have like 4 of the same 6 guys, then it's not great. Then I'm playing a 2v2 versus a bunch of people. If one guy has it, like whatever, I'll have a coin flip for $1 million. That's great. And if I lose, I get 500K. I'm in on that. I just don't want to have, like, the chalk lineup is, I mentioned it before, Rahm, Fitz, Henley, Siwoo, Minwoo. Like those 5 guys, 4 of those 5 guys, well, basically Rahm, Fitz, and then 2 of the 3 that I mentioned in the high 7s, like those 4 are like the core for a ton of people. Now, maybe this tournament is a little bit sharper and they will get away from that build. But when people just open up the app, the shitter bros, and they're just scrolling and they're making lineups, that is the easiest line. When I always try to do it every week. I open when the pricing first comes out and I try to build like what I think is like the best lineup based on all the values. That's basically the lineup that I made. It makes a ton of sense. It'll project out fantastically. But that's not how you get to the top of GPPs. I'm not playing for 30th place. I'm playing for first place. So I went with a slightly different build. Alex says, thanks for the research and content you guys put out. Best week of the year. Thanks. I do really think it's the best week of the year. It's the week I put the most work into. I mean, it's not that I don't put in work every single week. I don't want to frame it that way, but I really try to do extra during the Masters. It's a big week for this show. This show really determines like how we do business-wise for the year, whether we can continue to expand shows, try out new shows, bring on new guests, pay a few people here, a few people there to make the shows better. And if Masters week kind of flops or week 1 flops in the NFL, I mean, flops is I don't think Masters week has ever flopped, but some years have been better than others. This year has been the best one ever. So that's great news. And we're going to try out some very cool stuff with some of the extra money that we made this week. We'll put it back into the business, try to make the content better and grow organically that way. And we can only do that with you guys who show up and tell people about it, because we're not going to change what we do on this show. Made that decision a long time ago when I went into business for myself, is that as long as I was able to live and support my family doing this show, I did not want to compromise on how I wanted to do it. Sometimes you will see a Wolfhammer organic ad show up halfway through a show, but you know what? Sometimes these places pay some big bucks and you got to do what you got to do. All right. Wolfhammer, go. I download. Thing is, it's actually really good if you download the Wolfhammer app. Like, we got it for our Utah trip. And I'm sorry that I said that Wolf Creek was in Utah. I'm playing on my fucking way to Utah. It's like 30 minutes from the goddamn border. These fucking people in Nevada. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. We're staying at the Black Desert Resort. So we're going to be using it there as we're, I don't even know if you're like allowed to gamble in Utah, but we're going to be gambling on the course. That's what we're going to be doing. Prediction: over under 274.5 minus 13.5 strokes. I'd say it's over. I think that you're going to see like a minus 10 winner this year. I can't remember the last time it's been that low. Now, there's not a lot of wind, which theoretically should make it easier, but there's also no rain, and it's going to heat up. So it's going to be firm. It's going to be fast. It's going to be hard to hold these greens. You're around the green guys or deadly approach players are going to be the guys this week. Do you think that Xander is going to be over 20% the one and done? I'd say he's probably right around there. He, in my mind, is likely the third highest owned guy behind Rahm. He might even be higher than Bryson. Him and Bryson could be comparable. I would guess it's Rahm, Bryson, and Xander as 1, 2, 3 right now. What is your lineup in the Big Millie? I mean, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You know what? I'll tweet it out if it's doing well. How about that? Hey, Pat, currently in the top 20 out of thousands in the one and done. 2.5 million behind the leader. Do I eat the popularity with Rahm? Who would be your favorite pick? Who would be your favorite pick less popular? I picked Rory, Xander, and Fitz already. In that spot, you can go with Scotty. I mean, it sucks to have to burn him here, especially if he does not play well. I mean, if he doesn't play well and misses the cut, that to miss the cut 900 to 1 parlay is alive. But that's probably the look that you want to do. Cam Young, Fleetwood. I guess you already used Tommy. You can't go back to him. Or can you use Tommy? Yeah, you can use Tommy. Tommy, Cam Young, or Scheffler would be my moves there. They're the ones that are going to be slightly behind the pack that I do think have a chance to win this week. Akshay or JT? Akshay. Thanks for the great content. Thank you, Brendan Hall, for tuning in. Do you ever start your core for multi-enter tournaments at the bottom? I'm using Keegan and Knapp in all my lineups and have a group of 8 to 12 guys for the final 4 spots. I appreciate your commitment to playing shitty Keegan, who sucks, but yes, sometimes it depends on where I see value, not what the numbers say. I mean, the numbers will inform my decisions, but not what projections tell me where the soft spots are, or who the good plays are. If I look at the board and be like, man, there's like 3 guys here that I really like, I can alternate lineups between like 2 of these 3 and really hammer the top. And then I make my lineups that way. If that's where I see the value, that's what I saw this week, especially with so much of the top guys being in flux right now outside of Rahm. I just didn't want to eat the Rahm chalk in the 3,333 tournament. I did play him in other lineups. I like Rahm this week. I didn't play any Bryson, and I didn't play, I think, outside of the ones that we built on the show, because I do enter those, but like my main builds, I didn't play Bryson, I didn't play Scotty, I played Rory and Rahm and no Ludwig. And then the rest of the guys, like I played Xander, I played Tommy, that kind of thing, Patrick Reed and Cam Young. But I didn't play any Fitz. That is the one guy I faded along with those very top end guys, and just roll the dice, and hopefully it works out that way. But yes, I do that. I don't know what you're seeing in Keegan, but for your sake, I hope he plays well. For my sake, I hope he misses the cut, because he's in like all my miss the cut parlays. Also, shout out to you for Spawn. Tailed you and won a 50 to 1. Got money to blow. It's perfect. Yeah. Donate it all back on lottery ticket parlays. Yo, we love PME family and everything you do. Cuss Corner, best bets with Robin Cam, Feinberg, Keith, Tambo, Blickel, Garion. We've actually banked a me, Garion, and Cuss Corner, which is awesome. And it'll probably be during Zurich week, which I might take off. So I'll have new content. Don't worry, I'll have new content for everyone, like a brand new Cuss Corner. But that's probably when that show is going to come out. And shout out to Cam. Cam is actually back at work today. He had his cancer surgery. It's not something that was made public. Wanted to see how the surgery went, but he tweeted it out that he came out of surgery. They think they got it all, so we are very happy. And Cam honestly looks healthier than he has at any point in his entire life. He just had to get the cancer cut out of his body. He was back on air over at Sports Grid tonight, so it's awesome to see Cam back. People were wondering why there was no Bets Bet show with Cam. I told him, you either come on the Best Bet show or you get your cancer surgery. But if you get your cancer surgery and you don't come on Best Bets, you're fired. But no, he'll be back for the PGA Championship doing the best bets. Me, Rob, and Cam might even get together to do some NFL draft type stuff as well. Thank you for all the greatest content this week. I'm beyond excited for tomorrow. Best of the week. Thank you, Illini fan. Thank you for always commenting. That stuff helps our algorithm so much and helps us become discoverable on YouTube, Spotify, wherever it may be. And I always see your name down there. Well, the intern tells me the people, like the top commenters, you're always one of them. So I do appreciate that a ton. Biggest foul on a Masters Sunday watch party. What would make you punch a guy? I mean, I kind of watch it by myself. I don't really have a watch party. I don't know. I don't think there's anything different between a Masters watch party and a regular party. Like if you do something to get clocked in the fucking face, then you're going to get clocked in the fucking face. Just how it goes. And thank you for the content. Thanks, John. Hey, Pat, tell me why this lineup won't win $1 million. Fitz, Fleetwood, Højgaard, Minwoo, Xander, and Adam Scott. Because I think that the combined ownership of your line, you won't win the millie because you might split it with 40 other people. It's going to be a very, very, very common lineup. You have used 3 of the top guys that people like at the top that aren't the truly elite guys. Now, the build is a little bit different, but Xander, Fleetwood, Fitz is a very common start. And then you use 3 of the higher owned guys in the $7,000 range. All guys projecting right now over 10% from that range to like, and Minwoo is like up around like 20%. So your 1, 2, 3, and 4 guys are all like 20% ish. And then your 2 low owned guys are like 15% a piece at Nikolai and Scott. Maybe Nikolai's only 10. I like it. I think that, see, this is where I would take, if you wanted to, you turn Minwoo into someone cheaper. You could turn him into like Day. I don't love Day, but you could turn him into Day. And then you could turn, or you know what? You could turn Adam Scott into Ryan Fox, and you could turn Fitzpatrick into Hovland. And now your lineup is still good. And obviously you don't like it as much, but it's really a lot more unique in that sense now that you're going to these lower owned options. And look, I bet on Fitz. I hope he wins. But we really have to understand that like Vic versus Fitzpatrick is what, like 55-45 in terms of who finishes better. That if you're getting one at a third of the ownership, especially with a lineup build that doesn't include Rom or Bryson to begin with, or Ludwig, then your lineup is truly different. That's the way that I would go about doing it, but it's your lineup. You play your lineup, all right? Do you think we get a prop on Frankie Fleetwood to hit the green in the par 3 contest next year? I don't even watch the par 3 contest, so I don't give a fuck. What's stopping Johnny Vegas from winning? Maybe there is no alternate event this week. Maybe he's in Venezuela playing in the Venezuela Open. Awesome. Shane Lowry, let's go. Interesting. DraftKings has no miscut numbers. Sad. Well, get on Underdog. Code Mayo right now. Play some miscuts, all right? I just heard my baby crying, so I'm going to throw to an ad. You keep dumping your questions in, and I will be right back. Summer's almost here, which means you're either hosting people, pretending to know how to cook, realizing that your house hasn't been updated since Tiger Woods' first Masters win. That's where Wayfair comes in. Way Day is running April 25th through the 27th. We're talking up to 80% off everything with fast and free shipping. I went full upgrade mode. Cleaned up the space, added some modern pieces, got the patio ready for Sunday sweat season. And now it actually looks like not only 1 adult, but 2 and 3 kids live here at the moment and can have guests over. And it's completely safe in the backyard for those kids. If you're hosting or just want your setup to look better while you yell at your bets, this is the move. Way Day is the sale to shop the best deals in home. We're talking up to 80% off with fast and free shipping on everything. Head to wayfair.com April 25th through the 27th to shop Wayday. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. Season's changing, which means I need to flip my entire wardrobe. And I looked at my closet and I started thinking, why do I own so much junk that I never actually wear? I've been trying to scale it back. Fewer things, but better stuff. And honestly, that's why I keep going back to Quince over and over. Their pieces just make sense. The fabric feels legit, real quality, not that fake premium marketing nonsense that they send me on Instagram. That stuff sucks. What you want is super breathable, really comfortable clothing that looks sharp without trying too hard. Even the Flow Knit activewear. That's the sneaky one for me. It's soft, moisture wicking, doesn't stink, and you can wear it all day and not feel gross, which is a big win for me. The kicker is the price. It's like 50 to 60% less than what you'd expect to pay for this level of quality because they cut out the middleman and go straight to the source. So you're not paying for a logo, you're paying for good clothes. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/mayo for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/mayo. Quince.com/mayo. All right, let's talk about something no one in endurance sports likes to admit. You can be training your ass off, cardio, stress, not recovering properly, and yeah, it can mess with your performance everywhere because it all comes back to blood flow. Most guys jump straight to pills. That's just treating the symptom. The real key is nitric oxide. That's what controls circulation, endurance, and yeah, performance. That's why Joy Mode actually makes sense. It's a natural booster that supports nitric oxide production, not the fake pixie dust stuff. Just tear open a packet, mix it like an electrolyte drink, and you are good to go. Use it when you need it, or use it daily to raise your baseline. Think of it like training. One dose helps, consistency changes everything. If you want to support sexual performance the same way you support training and recovery, naturally and intelligently, Joy Mode has a deal for my listeners. Go to tryjoymode.com/Mayo or enter Mayo at checkout for 20% off. Joy Mode, the electrolyte packet for your dick. I can't believe they actually write that into this copy that they give me. For your dick. We got more questions. You got to be subbed to the channel in order to do it. Kids are doing fine. The baby isn't crying anymore, so we are good to go. Many questions as you got. John asked, who would be your top 3 can't win picks for the price? Like steering clear. I don't think Bryson's going to win. Bryson's also dealing with some off-the-course stuff at the moment, which I heard about. That, maybe it locks him in. I mean, you never know how this stuff affects people, but if you're wondering why he was crying in South Africa, kind of heard about it. It's not bad that way. It's weird, put it that way. But no, I don't think Bryson's game can withstand 4 rounds here. It doesn't mean he's not going to come 4th or 2nd or whatever. I think that on Sundays when the pressure gets ratcheted up, he starts mishitting his wedges. He leaves them really short. And although he gained around the greens, I think in each of the rounds last year, I still don't trust him around here around the greens. A lot of those, I think he chipped in like 3 times last year. He's very good at chipping in, but if you just need to have that touch and the ball doesn't go in, we saw this with Scheffler and Phoenix when he started to go on that run and almost caught Goddard to get into the playoff, that the shot that he made chipping it in was in the water if it doesn't hit the pin, but instead it went in and then he goes on a birdie run. Bryson kind of has that same around the green luck. He makes his own luck, but I don't trust him to have the touch around here to get that done. So no him. I don't think Scotty's going to win. So those 2 would be on my aren't going to win list for the pick. And I don't think Hideki's going to win at 30-1. So those would be my 3. If we're talking about brand names, I could give you a whole litany of guys who aren't going to win, but of guys that people are actually betting on with good odds, those would be my 3. Royal Melbourne is also an Alistair McKenzie track. I know. Thanks, stat guy. Appreciate it. Thanks for all you do this week, thanks, AJ in Carolina. Any love for Ortiz as a pivot off of Stevens down low? I just don't think you need to play guys that low, honestly. But yeah, I think I would go Ortiz over Stevens. I just think Ortiz is a better player, and he'll be lower owned. So sure, I think just 1v1, I like Ortiz objectively better than I like Sam Stevens. Patty Cakes, you have a thread on your left shoulder. Is that the "you made me look" type thing? No, what the fuck you talking about? RMP, what is the best thumbnail about look beat to shit? What is the thumbnail about look beat? I'm tired. It's tired. I've been up. I've been doing content for 7 straight days about the Masters, and I don't sleep at night because I have a newborn child. That's when my wife sleeps. Fucking moron. We're getting to the punchy part of the show. It's happening already. What are your thoughts on Kitayama? Pass. Thanks for doing these. Enjoy them. Curious what you think the ceiling is for these guys if they aren't mentioned before. Day, Casey Jarvis, Rye, Morikawa to miss the cut. I bet Morikawa to miss the cut. Day clearly has the most upside of those guys. I don't know really that much about Casey Jarvis. Yeah, he went back-to-back in South Africa. Awesome. On the DP World Tour. That's good. I put him on it to make the cut parlay. I think he could make the cut. I don't know what to expect from him. And Rye, I don't like Rye's game for this course. He can come 30th, I suppose. Although he did win the par 3, so he's probably going to miss the cut. But Day would be the one, and it would be through chipping and putting because he kind of always does that at Augusta. But I could see, where does Day max out? Day could come T4. I don't think Day's going to win, though. I'm in a work tiers pool. There's 75 guys, $25 entry. I took Xander, Reed, Minwoo, Scott, JJ, and Nikolai. Top 4 scores count. Thoughts? Looking good, Jeremy. I don't know what the fuck anyone else has. What the fuck you talking about? What's your take on betting cards on X? Unit police shaming over exposure. On one hand, 3 to 4X is unsustainable. On the other hand, it's their money. I don't care. Bet who you want to bet. I really don't care. If someone is getting mad, if you're getting mad because you see someone's terrible bets, don't follow them. Make it really easy on yourself. I don't understand why you go on the internet to get mad. It seems strange to me. Really, really bizarre. AM, PM won't matter. That is a statement, not a question. Banned for life, asshole. These questions in the chat. Questions, not your fucking comments. No time for your comments. Got time for questions here, okay? Quit wasting my time, you piece of shit. Any theme picks we can do for Cam? Well, is it the same with the fucking... No! I'm not prepped off the top of my head for this. Jesus fucking Christ. Nick Taylor odds, 500 to 1. Some places don't love it. Scott or McNeely, Adam Scott. I like the Scott Day combo. That's great for you. That's the fucking guy who I banned for life. Get out of here. Block user. Banned for life. Don't want to hear your shit anymore. I am looking at the wind for Harbortown and I'm seeing carnage. Should I just jump on anyone early? No, I don't fucking know. I haven't looked at Harbor. I'm still doing fucking Masters hasn't started yet. If you're that into it, you have the info. Make your own fucking picks. Hats off to you, Pat. New kid, working this hard, not easy. You are correct, David. What's the best pivot option for one and done this week, trying to make a move up? Already answered this one. Do you think Scotty will have baby swag? I am terrified about that. I'm not going to lie to you. Guy hasn't finished outside the top 20 all year and has one win. Who am I talking about? Jacob Bridgman is the answer to that question. I live for Make the Cut parlays. You hit the link in the description to the Substack. It will populate all of the ones you could ever want to lose money on. Not much talk about JT. He feels sneaky. He is, but he also hasn't been good at the Masters either. And like he hasn't been good he was good at the Players for a bit, then he kind of went away. Then he kind of came back again. But his other two starts, he was shit. He's been shit at the Masters. So you want to do it? Good. Sam Stevens is trending positively coming into the week. Do you think a top debutant is a look? I don't, because I bet Rasmus Nergaard Peterson as top debutant. So I'm not looking at anyone else besides him at 18-1 to be the low debutant. Pat, you're crushing it, my man. Thanks for all the content. Let's have a great Masters. Congrats on the baby. Thank you. Love the support here. Listen, if you're not going to ask a question, these are the type of comments that don't get you banned for life. Guy who's probably still watching but can't comment anymore. He's a piece of shit. Judge Cust is really the best addition to the show. I agree. I love Judge Cust. I think it really does showcase how Tim's not lying in any of these. I mean, not that he lies like all the time because he doesn't, but he's a very genuine guy who has a very strict moral code. He believes that people should act ethically at all times. His problem is he believes that people do act ethically at all times, but I've for like 20 years been trying to beat that out of him. He is not budging on it, but it makes for a fun segment. Someone asked me, why don't we have like Jeff theme segments? What are if you have a Jeff theme segment, hit me with it, because Jeff's a different type of crazy versus Cust. The segments work with Cust, and Cust isn't on as often, so it's like a special event when he comes on, whereas Jeff is just on every week with me. What do you think about a 4-leg round 1 by 3-3? I already gave you the 6 picks that I like for no. Bryson, Hideki, no. Those aren't the ones I picked, so I don't like it. It's going to lose. The one you want is the one that I gave out, which is guaranteed to win for probably the sports book, not you. But hey, those are the ones I'm going with anyway. Awesome on the massive viewership. Thanks, Laura. Thanks for always supporting the show. Thanks for all the content. Feels impossible to make a Scotty lineup this week, which means he probably wins. Can you actually win a GPP without if he won? Depends on the size of the GPP. You're not going to win the millionaire. You're not going to win the Millie Maker with Scotty at like 15 to 20%. There's going to be a 6 of 6 Scotty out there with the nuts. Like that's just going to happen because you're facing off with like 200,000 people in the 3,333 with only 1,400 people. It's theoretically possible, although not likely, just because the amount, like even if you have Scotty and he wins, getting a 6 of 6 with Scotty is going to be pretty tough. Over under ban for lives during the live cut show. Oh, I mean, Cust is on ban for life duty on that. If he sees something he doesn't like he doesn't get anything. He didn't get 2 comments like that other guy got. Cust here's 1 word, ban for life. He's very, very quick on the ban finger. How do you like Minwoo's group, considering his first round leader chances? Think Freddie shows him a few things. Yeah, I think he's going to walk him through and read his putts for him. That's how I would bet. On the Cust scale of insanity, where does liking Daniel Berger fall this week? That's a 3 out of 10 Cust insanity. Berger's fine. He's not for me, but I can see a compelling case for him. He was low debutant when he was a debutant in 2016. Thoughts on Bridgman? Hasn't finished outside the top 20 all season. I just said that. And 1 win in an elevated event. It's all putting. And if there's one thing that can tend to go for good play, it's not just putting. But when you're gaining like 7 strokes of tournament putting, that's how you keep achieving some of these levels. When he mixes it with the irons like he did at Riv, he wins. He could pop this week. It's the first time seeing the course, and maybe he can read these greens and understand the speeds properly. But there's a reason that you see ball strikers do so well at the Masters. Even shit putters all of a sudden start putting pretty well. And good putters, all of a sudden, that can't carry them anymore. There's a reason Denny McCarthy isn't like a lock to make the cut every year, because he can't even play himself into the fucking field anymore. But even when he did play in the field, like, Bridgman's fine. I like him to make the cut. I think he can come inside the top 20 like he always does. But like, as a winning bet, no thanks. Thoughts on Adam Scott? I like Adam Scott. I bet him to be first round leader. I hope he's first round leader. That'd be great. I like Adam to make the cut. Well, you should. He's like minus 300 to make the cut. So bold stance. Thoughts on starting with the low nines and making a balanced lineup? There could be lineups that I play that look something like that. But yes, I think that maybe, let's say, using Tommy Fleetwood as your most expensive guy, or maybe Xander, but let's say Tommy. The rest of your lineups can get pretty interesting pretty quickly, and your bottom end doesn't look as bad unless you want to take that one punt down and then populate that other region where guys are a bit popular. You know who's not going to be that popular is Corey Connors. Throw that out there right now. There's just too many guys in that area. Minwoo is going to be the highest, then probably Henley, then Siwoo, and you still have Akshay and Connors in that range. Connors could be like 7% owned. Everyone says they want to play Connors until they go to have that much money left, and they're like, oh, there's these other guys here. They just don't click Connors. I'm saying, like, I'm going to guess like 8% for Connors in the Millionaire Maker. So that's a good pivot if you want to do it. And these low 9 lineups allow you access to guys like that paired with a Minwoo if that's the way that you wanted to go, and it'll alleviate some of the pressure off that lineup with all the chalk guys. Thoughts on Knapp, Bridgman, Højgaard? Rank them. Højgaard, Knapp, Bridgman for me this week. I mean, I bet one of these guys to fucking win the tournament. That's the guy I'm going to like the most. Based on the expected firm, fast conditions, I am prioritizing driving accuracy, apex, and scrambling. Does a player at any price stand out in all 3? Rabbit hole. Let's find out. Let's go to the rabbit hole. Click over here on the old screen share button. What did you say? Apex height. We can throw that in. So you go to miscellaneous metrics. Again, code Mayo gets you 25% off all of the subs. But if you just want to get betsportsgolf.com, the rabbit hole, for $10 for the next month, code Mayo10 at sign up. We'll get that for you right now. Apex height over the past 6 months, you got Jake Knapp, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Bradley, Potgieter, Rasmus Højgaard, Ludwig, Ben Griffin, Brooks, Rose, Minwoo, Day, Davis, Riley, Clark, Cam Young, Nikolai Højgaard. You can see the stars of the guys that I used in my DraftKings lineup. Kitayama, Sungjae. Sungjae is actually pretty sneaky here at 75. No one's using him, and he tends to play well here. And we've seen him play well enough so far this year that, I mean, he did this last year. It was awful and just came T5 at the Masters. Then he was T10. Maybe he's the guy to look at next week. So anyway, we're going to throw Apex height in. Apex height. What were the other ones? I don't know why you'd be looking at accuracy. That I really don't get with super wide fairways and where hitting the fairway isn't as penal. Like, Rory could club down to a 3-wood and outdrive most of these dudes with driver. But if that's the way you want to go, we'll go to scrambling. Where is scrambling? Is that around the green? Do we have scrambling percentage? Okay. Scrambling percentage. Now, normally, if this was the research show, I would click on these filters and go to firm and fast, difficult conditions. You can do all that once you have your sub to betsportsgolf.com. Code Mayo10 to get in there, or code Mayo for that 25% off. And the other one was driving accuracy. Did you say distance? Priority driving, no, just driving accuracy. Okay, so we'll go to driving accuracy. Let's see here. Off the tee, de-accuracy, call it ACK. Talking like Kathy from the comics. And then we go to create model. And let's go 33, 33, 33, 33, 33, 34. So it works. And we will generate this. Model name is required. Show Q. I don't mean show Q from Star Trek. I mean show Q as if this was a show question. Jake Knapp is number 1. Zach Johnson is number 2. Siwoo, McIntyre, Day, Griffin, Henley, Cam Young, Fleetwood, Hideki, Kitayama, Xander, Harris English, Minwoo, Cantlay, Lowry, Keegan, Wacky Valimaki, and then you have this string of Rory, Ludwig, Hovland, Harry Hall, VJ, Spieth, Connors, and Scheffler are the top 25 in this model. If those are the three things that you are exactly looking for, it's interesting list of names. I do like the idea of picking a lane and building lineups around that or making bets around that. Because if you're right, you're really going to cash in. And I very much doubt that other people are looking at it that way. Do you give Siwoo any chance of winning the green jacket? No, I would. You know what? Yes. Yes, I do. I'll give him a 2% chance. That's probably high. 1% chance of winning the green jacket. Hey, Pat, how can I win a new mattress? Funny you asked, Brendan. If you hit the description, you can find all of the ways to get in the draw for the HELIX mattress. But it's not just the HELIX mattress. I got Underdog branded Pro V1 X's that I have to give out. I got some swag to give out. I got some cash to give out. Plus, the big one is like it's at least a $2,000 mattress. You need a new mattress. You can go right on Apple. You can find everything listed in the description along with the links to go do it. We'll be drawing that winner on Monday. Who do you got as first round leader? Beyond the ones I gave out? No one. But you can, I already gave them. I'm not repeating myself. Do you think starting a build at Rose and Reed is leaving too many of the guys with win equity at the top? Yeah, probably. Although if you go Rose, Reed, you could go Rose, Reed, Fitz, Spieth, Henley, Nikolai. Don't hate. I mean, I actually do kind of hate that, but there's a way that you can finagle that. It doesn't need to be Rose. Maybe it's just because I'm not. If you're really in on Rose, then maybe. I'm not super in on Rose this week. I don't have a question. I want to say I really admire Pat and all your golf bettors' stamina. Incredible. Great stamina. Unbeatable stamina over here. Thoughts on Angel Cabrera? Okay, fuck off. Good questions. You asked another bad question, you done. Split Crow or Nelly's? I mean, Split Crow's not there anymore, is it? And then there was like a Split Crow in Bedford, and then there was one in like Clayton Park. I was away for a while. The old Split Crow was awesome. Dirty Nelly sucks. It's just a terrible place. So Split Crow. Wolf Creek, so much fun. Glad to hear that. Pat, do you prefer Akshay or Minwoo? Well, I bet one, didn't bet the other. Team Akshay over here. Justin Rose has been a first-round leader 5 times at the Masters. Crazy. I mean, when I gave him out as first-round leader and we had a celebration on this show after round 1, we all cashed 80-1 tickets. I was very aware of that when I made the bet. Not making it 30-1 this year. Pass on that. If I only have $50, what is the best bet? Xander, 18-1 to win would be where my $50 would go. Pat, any thoughts on, or you know what? Probably Morikawa plus 240 if you just want to like turn it in. If you want to actually an actual outright bet, not that I think that Xander is necessarily like going to win. I mean, I bet on him to win, so I hope he wins. I think he has the best chance of anyone of that like non-very elite tier of just being there on Sunday, being inside the top 5 and having a chance to win on Sunday, and that's good enough for me. Pat, any thoughts on Siwoo? Haven't been hearing anyone mention him, but you just mentioned approach is going to be so important. He's top titty with approach recently and great around the greens. Siwoo's great. That's why he's going to be like super highly owned on DraftKings. Just his odds are ridiculous. He's like 45-1 to win the Masters. I'm not betting him at 45-1. I hope he wins. I would love if Siwoo won the Masters. I'm not going to be there. Like, I'll bet him at 45-1. You know what? I'll bet him at 75-1 next week at the Heritage instead of betting him at 45-1 at the Masters. How concerned are you about Fitz's low ball flight? Given he'll be play firm or fast, I'm fine with it. Like, he's won at desert courses before. Here, those are firm and fast. I think he'll be fine. I waste 50 now. What do we got here? Any thoughts on Cam Smith? Top 20, has some decent history here. I bet him to miss the cut, so that's good. Is Rory being faded only due to his previous back injury? Rory is showing up on Mike Cohen. His back injury wasn't a thing at the Players when he fucking played. I don't know what people are talking about Rory's back injury for. He's fine. People are just looking for reasons to fade Rory because guys don't win back-to-back. Rory's fine. He's not a bad bet at this point. He's drifted so far down the board. I've just already made all my bets, so I can't add Rory to the card, but I think it's a good play. In high school, I used to take hand notes to all your fantasy videos. Now I'm in law school, and I watch your videos instead of studying. Cheers. Nick, I'm going to break this to you. I know a lot of lawyers. I'm married to one. You don't really have to do that much in law school. You just have to be good at taking tests, and then all of a sudden, you're good to go. You just have to know what to study, when to study, and you just fuck off most of the time, and you're going to be absolutely fine. Watch out for the white stuff, though, because that'll get some lawyers. That goes on depending on where you're at. So be very wary of that once you get out and get to your firm. Penge, Stevens, Bridgman, top 20 parlay. I have 2 of those guys onto my to miss the cut parlay, so that's fun. So no, pass. Who should I bet my final future? Matsuyama, Akshay, or Day? Akshay. Keith hates cuss. Need to see them do a show together. I think Keith hates cuss. He doesn't like cuss like vibe and bit. That's not what Keith is there for. Keith is there for information only. But Keith and Cuss got along great when we went to President's Cup. But I'm not going to put two guys on a show that don't gel together. That makes no sense. Sounds like you should produce a network and produce shows that people want to watch, because that makes a lot of sense. Buddy on the pod today has me concerned about Fitz. I'm very invested in him. Sometimes I'm right. Sometimes Keith's right. I like Fitz here. I bet Carlos Ortiz 300-1. Money in the bank. It's not a question. One more for you and your daddy here forever. Besides Tiger and Phil, which player are you missing most from the field? Probably Neiman. It would be. I like to root against Neiman because I just don't think he's that good, like the way that people hype him up. But I do like to see him compete, so I can be proven right and others can be proven wrong. And I do think he's a great player. Sahith, I miss too. Sahith is someone that I think actually has a chance to win a Masters one day. I like his style of speethy play for there. He just has to get hot once, but just hasn't been good enough to play himself in, so it's probably never going to happen. Pat, a few odd bets here. Minus 200 winner to be from the final group, plus 1,400 for an albatross. That it should be like plus 14 million for an albatross. It's a fucking terrible odd. 3+ holes in one, 9-1. These are all terrible odds. Maybe the minus 200 final group winner, unless what was the year? The Rose Sergio year, when I had Rose that year and he lost to Sergio in the playoff. There was 4 guys tied for the lead. So what if that's the circumstance where 2 of the leaders are not in the final group? They're in the second to last group. I think all these are terrible odds. I'm all over Nick Taylor this week. Thoughts? I think he makes the cut. Pat, will you be tweeting out your Millie Maker tomorrow? Only if it's in the hunt? Probably if it's only in the hunt. I have Scotty, Xander, Fleetwood, Young, Rom left for one and done. Who? For the one and done, please. I've already been over this. I told you that I like Xander. I think he's the third most owned. I still like him. If you want to pivot, use Fleetwood or Cam Young in this spot and go on your way. Over, under, already answered that question. Stop being scared to pick your own players. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Thoughts on Hatton. Solid history here, but haven't seen anyone talk about him. Cuss picked him. That was one of Cuss picks. I think he misses the cut. Jason Day's parachute pants will launch him to the moon. Pick for leader after Friday. What the fuck are you talking about? Give your head a shake, pal. After Friday. Pat, 4+ man playoffs. Say it's Bryson, Rory, Scott K. These questions are getting stupid now, and I don't like them anymore. It was fun once. It's the 5th fucking time. These are terrible fucking questions. Top 3 first-round leader choices. I've already given out my... Okay, we're at the point. Does anyone have good questions anymore? See, this is a better comment here. 14-leg parlay. For your dick. Yeah, a winner. Mason Howell for low am? Yeah, maybe. Is Patrick Cantlay hurt? I've been pushing this. I haven't heard anything about it. But just looking at his ball speed and driving distance, something is going on here because he's like 13 yards shorter on average this year than he has been for the rest of his career, and his ball speed is down. So something is up with Patrick Cantlay. There were rolling aces today, but Aaron Rai will not win the Masters. Thanks. Great comment. Insightful stuff. Thoughts on Adam Scott? I already did that. Highest ownership, top 5. I went over that at the top of the show. Love the channel, long-time listener. What a Millie Maker ticket. How chalky can the lineup be? I mean, which Millie Maker are you talking about here? Because the smaller the tournament, the chalkier you can really be. You only need 2 or 3 pressure points. I'd say if like you have a combined 80% of ownership, I think you're doing all right. If like Rom is 30%, you work your way back from there. If Bryson's 25%, you work your way back from there. If Ludwig's 22%, you work your way back from there. I just wouldn't try to have like especially the most popular guys in each pocket. Try to have a pivot or 2, and then just pick like the 4 guys you really like, and then get kind of crazy with the other 2. Need to pick a leader after round 2. Any thoughts? No, I don't have any fucking thoughts on who's going to lead after round 2 when round 1 hasn't happened yet. I have none. What do you think about Robert McIntyre, top 20? I like it. The 2 last guys, the 2 guys that I was going to bet that didn't are Rom and McIntyre. So one of those 2 guys is probably going to win because I didn't bet them. Choose 2. Rory, Xander, Schauffele, Ludwig, or Fleetwood. Xander and Tommy would be my 2. I've bet Reed every possible way. Maybe I'm stupid. Biggest feature I have is 56-1 outright. Those are good odds. I hope Reed does well. Just tuning in. Congrats on the baby. How much weight ownership when you build? I just answered that like 2 seconds ago, so we're good there. Rose or Akshay? I like Akshay. Although odds and metrics would tell you that Rose is the better play. I like Akshay, okay? Pat, thanks for getting me through work with your awesome content. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks everyone again for tuning in. Biggest Masters week ever. That's what they're saying. At least that's what the numbers are saying. And that's what I'm telling you right now. So I appreciate all the support. See, woo, why is no one mentioning him? This is like the fourth fucking question about Siwoo. And no one, sounds like everyone is mentioning Siwoo. Hence why he's projected to be highly owned coming into the week. Is his history Masters at bad? No, it's not. He's made the cut every year for the past 9 years. Pat, you're the man. Thank you for the awesome content over the years. What are your thoughts on Spieth and Straka? I actually like Spieth quite a bit, but Straka is someone I just threw into DraftKings lineups because no one wants to play him. I bet him to win last week at 22-1. He missed the cut like a goober, but he's a perfect, like everyone is off of him. And he's had a really good year outside of last week. So not a bad spot. I don't love his game for Augusta. I bet him to win the Open Championship during that Masters Future show. I think that's the one that lines up the best for him, but I think he could top 10 at the Masters. He probably won't, but he definitely could. He's that type of talent, and he's like 3% owned right now. Any left for Spieth or Brooks for first round leader? As I did not bet them for first round leader, no, I have no love for them. Keep picturing the Bart Simpson writing about Spieth thoughts on him this week. It's funny. That's the first thing that came to my mind as well. Shout out DJ, who used to make that meme, is that just always play Spieth in the Masters, always play Spieth in the Masters. And he was in my original, like, huge Millie Maker lineup. And then I took him out. He's hard to get to at $8,400 is the one thing that I found. Let's go, Pat. Bobby Mack, 4-1 top 5. Awesome. Go for it, man. I wish Yella did better was here. He did pretty well. He had to win in order to get in. Are you missing Shooter Sean, or is it a good rest? I think it's a good rest for him. I mean, was he going to play well at the Masters? Maybe he would have. Who knows? Now, I probably would have bet him low Canadian, but I think we're going to see him at Heritage. I think he's played his way into the signature event. So we're going to see him at all these big boy tournaments, see how he does. Would you rather take Ryan Fox or Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson in tier 6 of a pool? I'd take Nørgaard Peterson. I think he has more upside. Fox is probably your better bet to come inside the top 20. I think for like actual upside, if our RMP came like 7th, I'd be like, all right, that tracks based on his game where he's played well, firm and fast, high ball hitter, super length, pretty good hands sometimes around the greens. But he's a debutant. Ryan Fox isn't. Fox has played pretty well at the Masters. Not good at the Masters, pretty well at the Masters in the past. Any insight on most birdies promo for first 2 rounds? Don't even know what that is. Don't pay attention to that shit. Nobody on Brooks makes me like him more. He's a killer on hard major courses. Easy donation this week. He's come second. I think he's come second twice at the Masters, but I just don't like him at the Masters. His game, like in the really soggy year, both of the years that he did well was 2019 and then the Rahm year. Both years had rain concerns and were wetter courses. That's where Brooks played a little bit better. Don't love him on the firm and fast touch style. Same as Bryson. Like when he was first round leader, super soggy out. The firmer and faster it gets, like save that for the, like at the US Open, that tracks because there's rough. Like you need to have such a premium on driving there, and their drivers play so well there. And Brooks is really good. I mean, he's a fantastic putter. He has not been putting well at all. That's really what concerns me about Brooks the most this week in particular. But I just don't love his overall game to like run away with the Masters. First round leader, as someone said, sure. I'm not doing it. I'm fading Brooks this week, but I don't like him as an outright win bet. Rank Straka, Connors, Day, JT. Connors, Day, Straka, JT. Can't believe it's a decade since the Willett win. You've been a big part of my life during that time. Kudos. Let's go Xander and Cam. I mean, I paid for half my wedding with that Danny Willett money. That was awesome. Actually, I put some of it towards the down payment of a house and some of it to pay off my wedding. Not that I bought a very expensive place or had a very expensive wedding, but that $15,000 went a long way when I was making $32,000 a year working at Fantasy Sports Network. So it meant a lot to me. We made half my salary in one bet. It was awesome. And it made this show, and people are still watching it because of that one bet. People tell me that many people tell me all the time that that's why they still watch the show. That's why they watched the show in the first place, because they bet on Danny Willett that week because Jeff and I told them to, and they won. So they're like lifelong fans. It's awesome. I really do appreciate you sticking with me through some of the bad years. We've had some good runs. Currently on a really good run right now, actually. Since Florida started, I've been on a hot run. So hopefully it can persist through the Masters. Time for Oberg to can the caddy if he stumbles again. Yeah, it's the caddy's fault that he keeps melting down. Yeah, that's blame the caddy. It's who I'd blame. Pat, I have Cam Fitz Spieth pretty heavy. Where does my last 100 go? I want to ride Fleetwood with you, but I'm scared. Or spread it around to my OG3. Yeah, just bet Fleetwood. Jeff, even Jeff jumped on board. You want to be there. I bet Fleetwood once over the past, I think actually I bet on him 3 times in the past 3 years. And he won one of those tournaments at the Tour Championship. So my hit rate I'm like the only guy ever up on Tommy. So You can dig yourself out of a hole when Fleetwood's winning the green jacket this time. Love the content every week. Golf, football, doesn't matter. Nobody in the business needed that hosted show. I'm telling you, it would have been like Garth from Wayne's World when Wayne walked out. We'll see. Maybe we'll get that one day. Enjoying the show, kind of like the other guys. Rabbit Hole can do scrambling, and drive. Oh, let's see. Scrambling, greens and regulation, and driving distance. Yeah, I can do that for you. Let's jump back to the Rabbit Hole. So it was driving distance, greens and regulation, and scrambling. So we'll go back to, where are we at here? Go back to the Rabbit Hole. Again, code Mayo 10. Get yourself in. Driving distance we'll add. And greens and regulation, that's under approach. So we'll go to greens and regulation. So great. We get Tony Finau, Tony the Tiger, who's not in the field, unfortunately. But we'll go close, create model. And we'll just get rid of apex height and driving accuracy. And go 33, 34. Show. It's almost how you spell show. Show Q2. Generate model. And we got Kitayama, Knapp, Rory, Cam Young, Xander, Goddard, Johnny Kiefer, Adam Scott, Scotty Scheffler, Bobby Mack, Sam Stevens, Nikolai, Hideki, Haotong, Day, Rasmus, Vijay Singh once again. Why is Vijay Singh? Oh, he's third in scrambling. So if you're going to weight that at a third, he's going to pop up every time. Same as Zach Johnson. Zach Johnson, third in greens and regulation, ninth in scrambling, 62nd in driving distance. Minwoo, Fitz, Siwoo, Brennan, Harris English, Cantlay, Akshay, Nick Taylor, Ben Griffin, Tommy Fleetwood is the list that we be going to, with those three stats being the weight. Goddard is going to win. Your best golf show I watch by the win. Monday, Wednesday show, guests are unreal. Keep it up. It's funny. It's almost like there's a totally different crowd for the Blickle show. And Blickle's insights are a lot different than both Keith's and Jeff's and Cuss, obviously. But it does seem like the Monday, Wednesday is like appointment viewing for some people, and then the research show and the DraftKings show, because it's not like we just talk about DraftKings on the DraftKings show. We talk about bets. We talk about the players on that show more than anything else. But it's just funny that there seems to be people who pair off. I mean, obviously you can't listen to everything that comes out. I understand that. But I have seen a lot of like Monday, Wednesday crossover and the weekend show and Tuesday crossover. I just thought that was interesting. What do you think of English? Not only a fan, firm conditions. It's a good setup. I mean, he may or may not be in my Millie Maker lineup. I like Harris English this week. He's on all these to make the cut parlays. If you could just bet him top 30, I think that's good. I just need a top 30 out of him, and I think we'll be good to go. Will you be able to post your big dollar Millie Maker team so we're able to follow along with you? I mean, I guess if enough people want it, I'll tweet it out tomorrow morning. I'm looking at it right now. I'll tell you what, I'll let you in on a secret. Here it is. It's Xander, Reed, Fleetwood, Nikolai, Scott, and English. But I have a 2v2 that I'm going back on forth for, because I'm thinking that like English, Scott, the way that I thought about it is I initially had Henley in this, and I worked it around. I had Henley and Cam Young, and I didn't have Nikolai Højgaard. I dropped that spot down to Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. So I might go back to that. But I'm just worried that Nikolai, English, and Scott is too chalky for my $7,000 guys, although they're still below that Minwoo, Siwoo, and Henley tier. That's why I've constructed the lineup this way, that those guys are going to be like 8%. I don't really have like a 5%. The lowest owned guy that I have in this lineup is Patrick Reed, because he's projecting at like 7% right now. Fleetwood and Xander are going to be very highly owned, and maybe even together. I just don't think they'll be with Reed. I think they'll be with Fitz or Cam Young, because Reed was Cam Young for the longest time in this lineup. It was Xander, Cam Young, Fleetwood. The three guys that I bet were the three guys that I was leading with. But the more I thought about it, using Patrick Reed, although I like him less, I think ownership-wise makes a bit more sense, and it frees up an extra $200, which got me from Ryan Fox up to Harris English, which, yes, he's more owned, but the 2v2 combo is far less owned than if I had Cam Young. So those were my thoughts. So I will tweet it out if I end up going with whatever I end up going with. I'll end up tweeting out. But I do have some fun ones. Like, where's the RMP one that I was really thinking about? Yeah, here it is. It was Fleetwood, Henley, Reed, Xander, Nikolai, and Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. So that was one that I was thinking about too. So that's where I'm around right now. But I'm pretty committed to Xander, Tommy, and Reed as of right now. Reed was Bobby Mack at one point. Reed was Spieth at one point, and then like the bottom end ended up coming up. I can still sleep on this one, wake up and tinker around and get off the Millionaire Maker winning lineup for the worst lineup possible. But this is like the bones of what I'm going to get around. In a pool where you pick 8 players, scoring takes your top 5 players. There's a list of top tier players of which you can take 3. Any thoughts? Rahm, Xander, Rory. Unless like Fleetwood is in that, which I doubt that he hit me. When you don't give me the names, it's tough. Top 55 and ties. I don't know what the fuck that question means. That's nothing this week. Top 55 and ties is nothing. It doesn't mean a shit. If you're asking about the cut, it's top 50 in ties. You think Blickle, Cust, Jeff could win the Masters in a scramble? No, I do not. Blickle's very good though. Maybe. Just the other 2 guys bring nothing. Like you're just going to use every Blickle shot and he's not winning the Masters. Xander Albatross incoming. Outrights, don't care about your outrights. I care about my outrights. What's your favorite bet besides Akshay? I mean, I said that Xander is my favorite bet of the week, not Akshay. Akshay is more of like it's a prayer. I want to be on it if it happens. He's mainly there for the top 8 finish. Thoughts on Matt McCarty? I like Matt McCarty. I bet him he's on all of those like to make the cut parlays. Don't hate him from down low. No faith in him. He's been playing some terrible golf, but he showed up last year like a lefty, and his second round at Valero last week was actually quite good. His first round, not so hot, because we bet him higher on underdog last week, and he came through for us. That was very nice of him to do, cashing that ticket. But I don't mind him. I like him to make the cut. Pat trying to put together a few underdog day 1 stroke picks. Been trying to keep it to 2 picks per entry to get that 3x money. It should be 3.5x money now on the 2 picks at underdog. Are you eyeing any underdog strokes, birdies, bogeys? I think I played Akshay lower, Norin higher. I really don't like Norin this week. Don't worry, Pat. I've got the fuck around, then lock in for the test stuff down. Okay. Tommy McIntyre will win because I missed a week of class to go to Scotland, England. Hey, you know what? There's reason enough. That's the one. Nick was listen, he's the law school guy. Okay, that makes more sense. Tim never says it's a hole-in-one bet. Will there be a hole-in-one? Why don't you ask Tim? I'm not his fucking special helper. Just tweet at him. He'll answer you. I won $700 free pole on King of Court last night off $5. What would you put it all on? Top seniors? You want to put $700 on top ZJ senior at minus 105? Put it on Morikawa to miss the cut at plus 250. That's more fun. If you're not especially trying to win a ton of money. If I had a free roll like that, I would put $700 on Xander to win. It's a free bet. Try to cash it in as bigly as you can. Put on one of my to make the cut parlays. Oh, Noonan's in the chat. Shout out Noonan. Great show we did. I really enjoyed our show, and he wrote one of the best articles I read all week, if not the best. I mean, mine was the best that came out on Sunday night. Noonan's was very long and very informative, and I learned a lot from it. So I love you, Ryan Noonan. Thank you for being on the show. Elite Krunak. Yeah, well, you just got back from Pinehurst as well. I like to, I very rarely like, I'm not big on like buying stuff to where I go, but if I do go to a golf course, I buy a sweater because I wear a lot of sweaters. It gets very cold in the wintertime, and I wear a lot of sweaters. I like to wear them on the show. I don't wear them while I play, though. Rory or Cam Young in the one and done. Depends on what you want to do. I prefer Rory in the spot. I mean, I bet on Cam Young to win, but I think that the theory that I would have on the Masters, that Rory's the better one and done pick for a contest like that. Who's angrier, you or Hatton? Actually, not that much of an angry guy. It's a show. If you don't realize that, this isn't real life. There's camera, script in front of me. It's all scripted. These questions outside of yours, all these questions are scripted just to mess with you. If you didn't know that, fucking moron. How do you like the Eagles or better bets for round 1 on underdog? I don't. Brian Herman winning this thing. Yeah, sure thing. What do you think of Hatton's antics on the golf course? He's so entertaining. I love Hatton. I mean, just plug me into Hatton. I know what it's like to have a freak out on a course. Me, people I know. If you're someone who never freaks out on the course, you better be really, really good. Because that's like the last level of being good is not caring anymore. There's nothing worse than playing with the guy who's like a 45 handicap and he doesn't get mad at anything. That guy's even more infuriating than the guy who's like a +3 handicap. That guy's probably not going to get mad at anything because he knows he's going to hit a good shot next. You get angry on the course. Hatton knows it. Like you hit the bad shot, then things start spiraling on you. And once you can get over that, that's when you can become good at golf. DJ being sponsored by Under Armour is weird. Cool thought, bro. Thoughts on Cam Smith? I already gave those out. What would you put the odds on for someone to piss in Rays Creek? Well, I asked Michael Kim if he would do it, but then he told me that there's actually a bathroom there. You just have to know where it is. So as long as people ask where the bathroom is, they can find it. During Cut Sweat, watching the Masters together with Tim and Jeff, who is the one guy collectively that all three of you would genuinely be excited to do well going into the weekend? Probably... No, Fleetwood, maybe. I don't think Tim has like an opinion on Fleetwood. He'll just say that Fleetwood will blow it, but I don't think that he dislikes Fleetwood. Pat, did you see the Sam Burns Golf Week article from the Houston Open? Sure didn't. Bets aside, who would you like to see win, aka play the rest of our lives? Fleetwood, Akshay is my answer. Although having Fleetwood in our lives forever, I think would be fun just because he has a very high Q rating, very likable guy. I'd like to see him. Pat and one and done. If you are currently in the cash, is the pick just Otto, Bryson, Rahm? Why? No, I don't think so. Pick who you think is going to win. Take that guy. That's what you do in one and done. Can you pick 3 of Scotty, Rory, Rahm, Bryson? Oh my God. And then another 5 players. I'll pick the 3 of them for you. And you can pick the rest. And you've seen who I've bet. You can bet the rest of those guys. Rory, Rahm, Tommy, and Xander. Go with those 3. And then like Akshay, Nikolai, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. Rasmus, you know what? I'll give you Akshay, I'll give you Nikolai and Adam Scott. You can pick the other 2 from down. Hey Pat, love the show. Who do you think is going to cost the public the most amounts of money this year? It's probably going to be Cam Young from this point on. Thoughts on Jake Knapp? No one's talking about him. I mean, Keith and I believe that they because 5 separate people asked me this question today, so everyone's actually talking about him. Keith and I talked about him on the show that came out last night at the 102 mark. Because I've told 5 separate people that already today of when that comes out. You can search the transcripts of the show if you're looking for particular players. They spelled Knapp's name wrong. So just put in Jake and then it jumps to him. I think he's fine. I think he makes the cut. I think he could top 20. That's about it. Thoughts on Brooks? Pass. You look like Pee Wee Herman. I know. It's like you've missed the Halloween shows over the year. Tim, the cake thief, Andercuss. Great show, Pat. Would you run a model? No. Now you need to sub to the rabbit hole. I'm not running models for everyone here, okay? You can do it. Code Mayo10, cost you $10. Run all the models you want at betsportsgolf.com. Hit the description, or you can just use code Mayo. Get the 25% off instead of the $10 a month, all right? What do you think of Rory's ownership? Already did that. Quit watching a few years, but after I win the Millie this week, I'm back. But you haven't won the Millie yet, and you're already back. Okay. Do you think that Ludwig can ever overcome his Sunday scaries? Yes, I do. I think the 26-year-old guy who's in contention every week can overcome melting down on some Sundays. Doesn't mean it's going to be this week. I think he'll get there someday. Shout out Cam, get better. Hawk noise. Ah! There's my Cam impression. Thanks for your 91 player breakdown. Used it often. That wasn't mine. That was Tim's. Tim's been a viewer of the show for a while. He wrote that one, unless you're talking to Noonan, which then this doesn't even make any sense anymore. Pat, first, give your fucking head a shake if you haven't hit the like. I agree. Apologies. Just tuning in if you talked about it already. Hovland ownership under 5%. I doubt that. I'd guess like 8 to 10%. Hovland was actually in my that read spot in my Millie Maker lineup was Hovland for a while. But I think that Hovland is such the logical pivot off of Fitz. Like, if you're worried about Fitz at all, considering he's going to be like one of the 4 highest owned guys, just move up $100 to Hovland because she said, I don't think it's going to be 5%, but like 8% versus 24% on a guy. Again, that is a coin flip to be just as good as Fitzpatrick. That's where I'd go. Fascinating that Cuss can be so right about some things and so amazingly wrong about most. That's a conundrum. Thanks again for everything, Pat. Thank you, Justin. Cuss needs to be studied by professionals. He is a professional. He's a doctor. Maybe that's his thesis. He's studying himself. Who knows? Thank you for the Bobby future. Shout out at the beginning of the year. Sad I skipped the Fitz one. I don't have the Bobby one here. I have the Bobby one for the PGA Championship at 110 to 1. So hopefully that one can come through. Hopefully he doesn't do well this week, and then he can win that time. Harmon, Stevens, Harmon, interested at all? Nope. Can Akshay win after playing so bad in India? I put money on that he can, so why not, right? Can you get a sponsorship that lets you play if you're in Ontario? Nope. Can't do it. Sorry. It's a fucking Ontario. Ontario doesn't allow anything. They allow places that I'm not affiliated with, but no, can't do it. Patrick Reed looking very plump these days. Always rakes at Augusta, though. It looks like he lost weight. How are you talking about? Do you have any recent history stats on him? Yeah, he won twice and came in second in 5 starts this year. He's doing well. He's come inside like the top 25 of the past 6 years. Pat, did you do the miss cut parlay? Yep, sure did. You can hit the description. You can click on the link to the newsletter. It is all in there, listed for you. There's a bunch of them in there. Pick the ones that you want, all right? And then enter that contest for the HELIX mattress, all right? Darts at Rays Creek, no piss. 9K and 4-7K structure, too common. It depends on who the 7 guys are. No, I don't think so. Anyone else take a stab at Potgieter? No. Nikolai or Reed for finishing position? Reed. Davis Riley going Cameron. All right. What's the best food to make for? Okay, these are fucking terrible questions now. If you need to make up ground in one and done, Morikawa is the play. I don't think so. You can find someone who's also 1% owned that you can play that will be better. Just play Brooks at that point. Who cares? Play Spieth at that point. I don't have any faith in him right now. Would Siwoo be shot on site if he flicked a dart into Rays Creek? I'm sure there's plenty of darts that have been flicked into Rays Creek over the years. Tim is a doctor? Why do you think we call him Dr. Tim Andercust? You can ask Tim what he's a doctorate. But yes, he holds a doctorate. The question is Dr. Cuss the same kind of doctor as Dr. Jill Biden? I don't know what she's a doctor of. Tim's not a medical doctor. He has a doctorate. A lot of people are asking to get banned. I'm just skipping their questions now because I don't want to lose my voice for the live show that's happening tomorrow night with me, Cust, and Jeff, recapping round one. My man, Sam Stevens, okay. Every time I bet on Jake Knapp, he misses the cut or does not finish inside the top 40. So you haven't bet on him this year. Maybe at the Players. Maybe at the Players you did. And then he missed the cut. Otherwise, he's been fantastic so far this year. That's it. That'll do it for Masters Week. I am fucking gassed, guys. Once again, thank you for tuning in all week, showing love for the Substack, showing love for the shows, the audio version, X, tweeting stuff around. I really do appreciate it. As I said before, like this week determines the rest of the year. This means like we've had such a good week that I'm probably going to fly up Kenny and Byron, and me and Cuss will take them on in a... I actually send your thoughts to this at mayomediainc@gmail.com because I won't read them unless you send them there. You ever want to get in touch with me like for real? Send the email there because I monitor that account most of the time. Other times my assistant does it, but I do see those. I'll actually log into that one. But I want to come up with a spin. Like we'll do a 2v2 scramble. Byron was a college golfer, so he's probably going to kick all of our asses. But like, should we do it like people do it now? And just play, like we'll have some fun? Or should we like try to do like a show as we do it? And we'll play 9 holes, see who wins, but we also like break down the PGA Championship while we do it at the same time. That was like a thought that I was running through. I don't know how hard that is to edit together or make it good, but that is something that I want to do this year is like gather up all the people from Mayo Media Network and like hit the golf course, film it, and have some fun while we're doing it. That's my thought for the year. What else do we got here? Love your show. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Smash likes up with the channel, all that fun stuff. Sorry I'm late. Thoughts on Herman? Nope. Need to get a little different. For my dick. Yeah, Herman's not the way I would go. Herman versus Stevens was a DK question. Don't care about either of them. So pass. Pick someone else. Maybe some of the guys that I mentioned. Thanks, Pat, Mayo Media. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. I'm actually going to get out of here for real this time. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I got to go to sleep because I got to wake up early because I got a baby. And the Masters is starting, and I'm excited. It's going to be hard to go to sleep because we wake up. We have some glorious feeds. I got like 8 separate feeds. I can watch all the different streams. Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Hopefully, we have cashed a first-round leader. If you need to see the bets, once again, it's on my Substack. It's posted on Twitter. It's all there. Easy cheat sheet. Or just rewind the first 3 seconds of this episode when I list it all off. You can do that as well. All right. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.